A kid has to have the galactic negotiations no one else wants to do. That must be like pulling teeth, or at the very least negotiating a lower internet bill, which brings me to the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by Rocket Money, the all-in-one personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. And I appreciate that about Rocket Money canceling subscriptions, because we've all been there. Subscribe to that streaming service because that show's about to come on. Then when the show's done, you just kind of forget about it. You forget to cancel that subscription. Here's the rub. That's kind of what they're counting on. And it's easy to miss it. 6 different subscriptions will be spread across 6 different apps. Rocket Money reconciles all of it into one place. You can just thumb through and be like, couple clicks. Nope. Yep. Nope. The visual of having it all in one place, it helps. You can be like, oh, that is a lot. Rocket Money also saves you money by scanning your bills to find savings. From internet service, cable, phone bills, couple taps, Rocket Money can negotiate a better deal for you. You don't even have to talk to a human, and that's a win. Finances are important, man. Sometimes things slip under the radar. Causes you to bleed money. I'm glad there's an app that'll help you find those leaks. So click the link below, go to rocketmoney.com/Johns to get started for free. Embark on your quest to be more financially frugal. That's the word. And now a new Pixar movie. I remember when that used to feel like a bigger deal. So Elio is the newest Disney Pixar animation dropping in theaters this weekend. If you didn't know what Elio was, didn't know what it was about, didn't know it was coming out, I don't think anyone could blame you because the marketing for this movie, in the words of my dogs, woof. Non-existent, I think, is the actual term, but we'll go with woof. Pretty sure the only people who knew about Elio were the people in the auditorium at CinemaCon when Disney was giving their big presentation that did include Elio. And when I first heard the plot of Elio, I was like, I'm gonna hate this movie, aren't I? A kid who so hates his life, he wants to get abducted by aliens, then he does, and this alien civilization is like, hey, stick with us, and if you pass the test, you can just be one of us forever. It's a weird... What lesson is that for kids? But storylines and arcs being what they are, you gotta let it play out. Maybe there's a lesson there, fair. And yeah, that's the gist. This kid, Elio, has lost his parents, he's living with his aunt. He wants to get away. When I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, I do get it. I understand what they're going for with that. And wouldn't you know it, aliens abduct him. There's this whole, basically Disney Pixar's answer to the Citadel from Mass Effect. A bunch of alien civilizations who have come together. They think he's the leader of Earth. And so he has to play ambassador and hopefully make peace between this big warmonger alien and Disney Pixar's Citadel from Mass Effect. He meets a friend along the way. Here we go, adventure ensues. I'm not gonna lie to you, to my surprise, the movie wasn't bad. Let that be the quote. You know, the quote on the commercials, the back of the Blu-ray box. Can that be it? First of all, Elio, he's a likable character. You empathize with him, you sympathize with him, whether you're a kid now or you've been a kid before. Yeah, you know, if you've been a kid before and you didn't just spring out of holes in the ground. It's easy to understand that want to escape, but again, movie being the movie, there is a thing there about where home is, what family is. It's also really funny that in the course of how long's it been? About a month. In the course of a month, there have been 2 Disney movies, granted one being a remake, where the main kid has lost their parents, now lives with another family member who's completely out of her depth. The kid then befriends an alien and then adventure ensues. You bracing us for something, Disney? What's coming? Yeah, I feel this movie found its stride in the second half. The first half of the movie, I kept getting frustrated with Elio's aunt. Elio's like, I want to get abducted by aliens. The aunt's like, you know what? Boot camp or boarding school or summer camp for 2 weeks, whatever it was, just don't feel it was the answer. Granted, maybe she'll learn a lesson as the film goes on, as characters hopefully do in movies. But it definitely put me on guard, man. Just 4 weeks ago, we learned that Ohana means let the neighbors raise your sister instead. I was just waiting for the axe to drop, like, okay, I guess Disney's just going to burn family dynamics to the ground. Don't make Incredibles 3 at this point, because I don't want to see Mr. Incredible and his sad divorced man 1-bedroom apartment. I guess that's the thing I should keep in mind when you see these frustrating character moments. Maybe it's just making way for the character to learn something. That's what logic would say. There's a Disney movie. I just don't have faith in them. I mean, the little mostly faceless worm friend he gets, I like the friendship between the two. Thought it was cute. I mean, the character design's pretty much if you went to AI. Hey, AI. Create Heimlich from A Bug's Life, only he's an alien now. Yeah, close enough. Some of the other alien characters, they're cool in the very surface level sense. But again, I'm taken back to a time in Pixar's legacy where that just wasn't the case. All the characters, at the very least most, were amazing. Iconic leads, standout support characters. Disney has their gold bracket of Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King. Actually, I feel like depending on the person, where Pixar falls in that golden bracket of this was the golden age of their movies, it might be different. That or counter argument, it may seem that way because it went on for longer when it comes to Pixar. But the other aliens are just kind of there. They don't stand out. I don't even remember these two, and they're on the poster. I even liked how the villain was done because he's a little more sympathetic than you might expect. The whole thing has to do with galactic negotiations, peace talk, which sounds a lot more boring than it came across on screen. But the fact that this kid who's completely out of his depth is the one that has to do it, you know, it makes it fun. And by the end, swinging back around, this movie does have a nice lesson about what parents will do for their kids. It had some unexpected moments of the feels, I'm not gonna lie. So I didn't expect that here. Some of the jokes were basic, they didn't really land. Made me think, who wrote this? In fact, that's the question I still have. Who did write this? Okay, so the movie has a few different writers and directors, which kind of makes sense. And to the movie's credit, it's not that long. It's about 90 minutes. It's kind of a weird strength this movie has. It doesn't try to overcomplicate itself. It just kind of stays in the pocket and is a simple adventure in space. But it's all it needs to be. At the very least, it's self-aware to that extent. A kid lost his parents. He wants to escape. He ends up in Disney Pixar's answer to The Last Starfighter for kids. And he has to help these two sides find peace. Hopefully, he finds his own sense of peace at his own house. And we'll write some jokes. People aren't laughing, though. They weren't that funny. But I still had a surprisingly enjoyable time with this one. No alcohol required. But this is why, when I do what I do, not going to movie screenings once in a while, it's important. Because those movies are free. Screenings for folks who review movies, free. Which I feel over time runs the risk of insulating us reviewer folk from the reality of how expensive it is to go to the movie. I went to Elio, it was in 3D anyway, I was like, $15 for matinee. That's not counting concessions, that's just if you sneak in your snacks, which, let's be honest, if you're a family of four, $60. Is it worth $60? No. In which case it's worth checking out when it comes out on streaming. All right, so Elio, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or what, for you, are the Pixar classics? Was that bracket of time in which Pixar was just in the zone? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.